Good morning. Oh, now I've had the pep talk already now. We have friendship in the house. Where is friendship? Come on, come on. We have friendship in the house. We have Watson Chapel in the house. Come on. We got to work on it now. And we have Pine Bluff Middle School. Pine Bluff Middle School, give it up. Come on, show us what you got. Well, good morning. Good morning again. I am Bruce McGowan, the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And I want to thank you all. Thank you all for getting up this morning, brushing your teeth, getting ready to get your excitement on, because something wonderful will happen for you today. And in all seriousness, you're the reason that we are here. Some of you were asking me at the table, what is this for? And I had to take a little moment to think about it, because it all started with a discussion, a telephone call, a Zoom meeting. We met with Dr. Thurman. Let's give Dr. Thurman a hand. Where's Dr. Thurman? A few of us met with Dr. Thurman to talk about something exciting. We wanted to do something extraordinary for the young women such as yourself here in Jefferson County, in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And so through those discussions, we conceptualized the idea of doing something, or creating a spark, igniting a spark for the young women in this area. And so this is the inaugural program to ignite that spark. You are the recipients of an investment that Entergy and the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff want to plant into your lives. And so this is sort of a testament of the power of partnership and purpose, and the partnership between Entergy Corporation and UAPB is paid off, is paying dividends to create a purpose. And the purpose is to plant into your lives and make a difference in your futures. And we want you to take this seriously. There are some great things happening for you throughout the rest of this program. And I believe, and I speak this over the group now, that this spark will ignite something in your lives today that will change your lives forever. Now you gotta believe that now. You gotta believe that. You are special. I've been talking to some of you earlier. You are special. The reason that you are here is because you are special. The reason that you are here because you have a passion for learning. And so whatever you take back today, just know that we care about you, we love you enough to plant into your lives, and we want you to make a difference in the lives of others. So enjoy the rest of your day. I would like to also thank Dr. Thurman and the Entergy team. The Entergy team, can you give just a shout out, a wave? Yay! Now I know Entergy, I know how much everybody thinks at Entergy. And I know what you do at Entergy. So I need to hear something different from Entergy.
UAPB alum.
Let me hear it again for Entergy. And I would also like to thank the UAPB STEM advocates Miss Laura Hildred. Miss Laura Hildred. That's who's back there. And Miss Laura was part of this conversation, and she took it and ran with it as she usually does. And Dr. Venetia Miller, where's Dr. Miller? Say hey. Dr. Miller. And then we have we have Dr. Buckner. Dr. Buckner. This is our UAPB team. Dr. Buckner is the chair of the biology department. And I see Miss Tiki Hunt. Miss Tiki Hunt is our 4-H director in the School of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Human Sciences. And I see Ms. Ware back there. So I would like to thank you all for being here and again, have an exciting day and enjoy the festivities. Thanks.
Okay, ladies, are you ready to get the day started?
Yes.
Okay, well, it is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of Entergy. I have several colleagues behind me, and you will see several Entergy colleagues throughout the day. We are so excited to have you here, and as Dr. McGowan said, we hope this ignites a spark in you to consider a career in STEM. We hire engineers, we hire chemists, we hire a number of different types of STEM backgrounds, and Entergy is more than the line workers that you typically see. We do so much more, and we're excited to show you some of that today. So take the day, ask lots of questions. Don't be afraid to talk to any of the people that you see in the rooms. We're here to help you and pour into you as much as we can. So I'd like to take a moment to just say thank you to a few people who helped put this together before I kick it off to our panel behind me. So first I'd like to say thank you to Richard Reedus for the sound and equipment today.
Yay!
Thanks to Randy Kelly for UAPB-TV. So, Molly on camera. To Jamie Hooks, UAPB graduate, Channel 11 employee. Thank you. To the National Association of University Women who are here volunteering today. Thank you. To Tiki Hunt, UAPB 4-H. And she also brought the really cool bike that's outside that you can engage with during lunch. The STEM Academy Scholar volunteers who are here helping us today. You will get a chance to engage with them throughout the day, and I encourage you to ask them lots of questions as well. They can talk to you about their journey here at Pine Bluff, or University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and also what it's like to study a STEM major in the university setting. The school coordinators, thank you for getting the students here with us today. Thank you to Marika Bender from Body Vendors.
That's me,
We'll see more of her session later this afternoon. Thank you so much to Laura Hildreth and Dr. Venetia Miller. Both of these ladies were instrumental in helping this event take place today. We wouldn't be here if not for them, so I want to just take the opportunity to let them shine today. And finally, a special thanks to all of my Entergy colleagues who came today and who are giving your time, talents, and knowledge to pour into these young ladies who are our future talent. So thank you all for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful, exciting, powerful day and ignite a spark in you. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to our panelists and just really quickly tell you who they are, and then I'll let them tell more about it. So this is our first panel with Women in STEM, and we're talking with different leaders in the company. Moderating today's panel is Dr. Venetia Miller, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Director of Innovative Programming. Next we have Louise Duncan. She's Vice President of Power Plant Operations at Entergy. Then we have Sarah Turner, Senior Manager of Project Management in Arkansas. Alyssa Miller, Manager, Transmission Control Center, and Paige Burkhardt, Manager, Transmission Line. So help me give them a round of applause.
And so today, hopefully, these ladies on the stage will be able to answer those questions for you. Now, I'm going to ask them some questions, but if you have questions that you want to ask, just raise your hand. That's what they're here for today, okay? So we want you to be enlightened. We want you to get your questions answered. We want you to leave here knowledgeable, and we want you to leave here excited about STEM. Is that all right? Okay, so let's go ahead and give them a hand in the beginning. Give them a hand. First of all, we'll begin by having each panelist take a moment to tell us about themselves. They will tell their name, their position at Entergy, the role and responsibilities that they have, their educational background, and what inspired them to pursue a STEM degree and profession. So we'll start there, ladies.
So I guess I'll start. My name is Louise Duncan, Vice President of Power Plant Operations. That responsibility is I oversee all the generating plants here in Arkansas. So what that consists of power plants that utilize gas, coal, water, because I have hydros, and then also we have solar sites throughout the footprint here in Arkansas. And I have a host of employees, up to about 300 throughout the facilities, throughout the site, and so a few of them are here today that you all will be able to meet during the breakout session to just kind of talk about what it is about making power. As far as my career interests, I am an electrical engineer, graduate. From Auburn University, so I was born and raised in Montgomery, Alabama. So, yeah, see. But also with engineering degree, I served 7 years in the U.S. Air Force. So I have a military background. One might ask, what inspired me to go into STEM? Well, one, I felt different. And initially, you know, probably some of you around the age, I felt not accepted amongst other females because my mindset, I looked at things different and I did things different. I was a thinker and a ticker. I was a person that took a TV apart because I wanted to know how it works. So being different, but then I saw a lineman one day doing some work outside my home. And then I said, I want to do that. And that is what sparked my mind of being, that's why I'm different. So I was put into a boys club program, which in Sparking Power. It was a program that I was a part of, which took females. And that is where I started my interest in STEM. And developing friendships and then having a mentor. That was an engineer that really molded my mind to really define, do I want to be a lineman or a linewoman, or do I want to go into engineering and do more? And that is where I became the interest of going into electrical engineering.
Good morning, my name is Sarah Turner. I'm a senior manager in our capital projects group, and basically what my group is responsible for is building projects. I have a team of project managers underneath me. We build the infrastructure, the substations, the transmission lines, they get the generation that you're responsible for. We build the infrastructure to get that to the communities. And so that's what my team does. We get to get out in the field, see the actual construction of the work. My team works with and leads a team of engineers, schedulers, analysts, all kinds of subject matter experts to make sure we have the proper plans in place to be able to build these projects. I've been with Entergy 22 years. I am an electrical engineer. I graduated from the University of South Florida in Tampa and started out my career as an engineer and held several different engineering positions and then moved into management from there. I think as far as what inspired me to go into STEM, when I was in school we didn't have girls in STEM or women in STEM or those sort of programs around, and I went to a very, very small school, a school of about 200 people, K through 12. So I knew I liked math, I knew I liked science. So when career day rolled around my senior year and it was time for me to decide what I wanted to do with my life, I met with the counselor and she asked me what my interests were. I told her I liked math. I took all the math courses that were provided at my school, which were not very many, but I took them all, science, and I told her I liked those subjects, and she told me I could either be a teacher or an engineer. Those were the two options I got. So I knew I did not want to go the teacher route. I wasn't cut out for that. I did not know what an engineer was, but I decided that day I was going to be one. And so I started with that small spark, as we're talking about. And I didn't take TVs apart and take telephones apart, but I fed that spark and that interest that I had in math, and that really grew into something. And it wasn't until my first year of college that I actually learned what an engineer was. And I knew at that point, once I learned that was for me. That's what I wanted to do.
Good morning, girls. I'm Alyssa Miller. I am from Bryant, Arkansas, so just right up the road. I have a degree in electrical engineering from Arkansas Tech University in Russellville, and I am the manager at our Transmission Control Center in Alexander, Arkansas. So I want to see some hands go up here. How many of y'all have seen those really big power lines? Not the ones that come to your house, but the big metal ones. Raise your hand. Okay, y'all seen those? Okay, cool. So what we do is we monitor those and the substation equipment. So power is made and it goes on to those really big transmission lines, which are kind of like the interstate for electricity. Then they go to a substation where it gets stepped down and it can go to your house or it can go to Walmart. So just like the interstate for cars, the interstate for electricity has to be watched. We have to make sure there's no traffic, there's not too many cars on this road, or if there's maybe a pothole but there's not a pothole on a power line. But if it messes up, it's kind of like a pothole on the road and you have to close the road. So that's what we do at the Transmission Control Center. We're constantly monitoring how much electricity is on all of our lines in Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and a little piece of Texas. And then what sparked my, so I kind of had a non-traditional engineering career. So I guess I'll kind of weave this together with my spark. So my dad was an electrical engineer. Didn't really know what he did, but I knew he worked at the power plant. And he'd taken me there a couple times, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And my dad has been a really important person in my life, so that was kind of my spark. I didn't really know about engineering. I knew I was good at math, but I was like, okay, maybe I'll do something medical, maybe not, because when you're a kid, everybody always wants to be a doctor or a vet or a teacher, and I never really thought about engineering. So I knew my dad was an engineer, so that's literally when I went to college. I said, okay, I'll be an engineer because my dad's an engineer. Then I got my first internship at Entergy and was like, okay, there's more than the power plant. I got to see how it all connects together. And so that's kind of my spark and my background. So when I graduated, I took a non-traditional engineering role as a system operator. So I got to work in the room, watching all the electricity go all across the lines in all the different states. And then I became an engineer after a couple of years as an operator, and then became a manager. So that's kind of my spark and what I do.
I'm Paige Burkhardt. I'm the transmission line manager for Arkansas. So my team is responsible for the maintenance of the transmission lines, which Alyssa mentioned earlier is the big tall steel structures. Aside from maintenance, we are responsible for storm restoration. So when your power goes out, my team is the first responders to go out and assess all the damages that we have, and then we'll civil rights background. My background is a civil engineer. I went to the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, which is in Louisiana. I'm originally from New Orleans. A civil engineer kind of sounds a little odd to be working for a utility company, but we're responsible for installing what's called poles, right? So the steel structure design, the foundation design is a really big piece of that. We've got to make sure that they can hold the wires up. So I guess I really didn't start as a civil engineer. When I was younger, probably in high school, I knew I liked doing design work and building things, so I really thought I was going to be an architect. So that's what I went off to Lafayette and began my architecture school and realized that I did not like that. It was a little too artsy for me. I kind of started to focus more on the number side of it, so that's kind of what guided me into civil engineering, because I knew I could still build stuff, but it was more of like the mathematical side of it. So I guess my spark was really in college. Like, I knew that the architecture part was not for me, and I knew I wanted to do the numbers side of it, so that kind of motivated me to get into civil engineering. And I think a big piece to take away from that is, it's never too late to pivot. So if you think right now, hey, this is the route that I want to go and do, and then later down the road you realize, hey, I kind of have a little bit more interest on going this way. It's totally fine to do that. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that.
Our first question is for Louise. And I want to know, what advice do you have for women starting their careers in STEM? And what do you wish you had known when you first started?
I'll start out with I wish I've known. I wish I've had the opportunities in life with you being presented today to actually meet someone in STEM, someone that represents who I am, looks like me, maybe think like me. I wish I've had that. That was not really what was presented for me at the time in which my interest in trying to decide where I want to go and what I want to do. It was actually a male-dominated field. And it is still somewhat today. But we are here, we are strong, and we are powerful. So that is what leads into answering the question on what advice I can give to you. Know your strength. Know your voice. Use those things to lead your way. Don't allow your environment to define your future. Sometimes you can't even let your friends define your future. You yourself must determine what that is, and you must put that strength that you have to push forward. But also, if you're in that STEM, that spark, that's part of you, build those relationships with those who are in that space. Meet individuals such as myself and the ladies on this up here with me, or others that you over your span of school and things that you work on. Remember them, develop those contacts, ask questions, volunteer to be a part of things so that you can continue to learn. But also, one thing about learning, always stay in the know what's going on. Engage. Some of you might, how many of you out here play video games? Robots? Roblox, okay. Hey, that's outside of my area. I got a 10-year-old, love Roblox. But what I want y'all to think about that is an engineer, a programmer, individuals that develop that. So if you play it or you're a part of it, be the person that builds the next thing. Create the next thing that we are excited to be a part of. Everyone might have cell phones, you text and all of that. That's all about STEM. So what I would advise of you today is, don't just accept what's available to you today. Take what you have today in front of you and decide on how it can be better and how you can make it better than what it is today and what it can be tomorrow. So be a programmer, go into engineering, science, all of those things, but continue to learn continue to ask those questions, build some relationships, stay in contact. When you go off and decide to go to college, volunteer, be active, be involved. Build somebody else up to do the same as you, so that when you get in your field, you can bring someone along with you, just like it's exciting to sit up here with others, and I'm not alone. But that is what I want you to do. Strive, dream, and believe in those dreams and make those dreams come true.
Make connections with people in the field. And it's not too early. You want to do it in college because you're always going to get a connection, a recommendation, a positive word. When we did introductions earlier, there were some of the Entergy employees in the back who said, I'm a UAPB alum. Those are people you want to connect with because they have been right here where you are. These ladies on the stage and the other volunteers that you see here that are in college, ask questions today. Use this as a fun day to learn, okay? Take advantage of the opportunities that are right here for you. So I'm going to ask Sarah a question next, and that is, what are the most important skills and qualities for success in STEM? And then I also want to know, how can these young ladies develop those skills?
I think one of the most important qualities when pursuing a career in STEM is what we've been talking about today, just having that spark, that curiosity, that interest, that passion in some sort of science or engineering, math, and then being able to feed that spark, because we're talking about your careers and the rest of your life, and you want to do something that you're passionate about, and you want to do something that you enjoy doing every day. You want to get up and go to work and love your job. So the more you feed that spark and that passion, I think the more it'll grow, and that's one way to develop it. And just listening to what's been said here today with the different networking and finding a team of like-minded people that are pursuing the same things as you. So I think really building on that spark is key, but also learning how to communicate. So a lot of times when we think about science and math, we go to kind of the techie part, and we kind of forget about the grammar and the spelling and the English and all of that. But making sure that you're developing those communication skills is very important as well, because you can be the smartest engineer, you can develop the latest innovations, and if you can't properly communicate that to your peers and to your bosses, then you're not going to be heard. So developing those communication skills is also key. And then we talked about it a little bit, just continuing to learn, continuous learning, driving yourself to move forward, having dedication, and pouring yourself into your studies and what you're passionate about.
Okay, our next question is for Alyssa. Alyssa, what challenges have you faced in your career? And how have you overcome them?
I'll say challenges I faced maybe when I was in middle school that were solved when I finally had a career. So y'all are in what? Y'all are in middle school, so that means you'll have algebra. Raise your hand if you have algebra. You already have algebra, maybe geometry, trigonometry. So sometimes, if you're like me, I would be sitting in class and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I'm doing algebra. I'm not going to go do an algebra problem tomorrow while I'm playing outside or, doing your video game. Like, what am I going to use algebra for? Well, that kind of continued as I went to the first couple of years of school, as I said, what am I going to use all this stuff I'm learning in school, all these engineering classes and circuits classes, what is this going to be good for? Well, then I got my first internship, and I said, this is it. This is exactly why I learned algebra, why I learned geometry. That's why all this stuff is important. And so a challenge, this is more of a challenge for you, is when you take those math classes Or actually, you can be thinking about algebra when you go into the breakout sessions, because you're going to see relay coming. You're going to see a relay. That's got a ton of math in it that I will never understand. You're going to go and you're going to see a generator and how a generator works and how it heats up water, turns it into steam, and then turns a fan blade, turns it into electricity. I should have left all that to y'all. But but all those things use math. So math, it was really hard for me to make the connection. Math, what does this have to do with anything? And when I started my job, it became clear. And then, like Sarah and Louise were saying, learning those skills to be able to communicate why this math is making the lights turn on at your house, or why this math is generating electricity possible. You're going to need to be able to explain those things and have the communication skills to explain what you've learned. So that was a challenge for me, but made friends with people in the space, had plenty of people around me to help me explain and to help me learn. I'm still learning today.
So I'm going to ask our next panelist a question about teamwork, because that's very important no matter where you work. So for Paige, I want to know, what role does teamwork play in STEM? And how does teamwork play specifically into your role at Entergy?
Yeah, so obviously all of y'all have been on teams, and sometimes it doesn't work out too well. But teamwork continues all through your career. For example, for my group, right? So we are responsible for the transmission line maintenance, correct? So in order for us to get our job done, we have to work with, Entergy is one big team. We all have to work with each other, all these different groups, in order to get the job done. So it's extremely important, because if we don't have that effective communication, right, or that teamwork mentality, we're not going to get the job done, or we may get it complete, but it's incorrect, or we don't do it safely. So teamwork is, it's an absolute must when you're doing this kind of work.
All right, Louise and Sarah, I want both of you all to tell me this. How can women develop their leadership skills? Because we got to have teamwork, but there will be some leadership skills too. How can these young ladies develop leadership skills?
So I'll jump in with that one. We just got done talking about teamwork, and in order for a team to properly work effectively, you have to have a leader, and you have to have someone that's stepping up and that's helping to make sure that the team is working together, and that job assignments are being given, and that the team members are empowered and they feel like they're a part of the team. The leader can help identify where your team members' strengths and weaknesses are, and then help them find the best fit for them on that team. So I really think any kind of team that you're on, whether it's sports or robotics, academic teams, volunteer events, civic opportunities, volunteering with your church or community, or anything else provides a way for you to develop and hone in those leadership skills. And you can also find mentors in those groups. So if you're not comfortable with your leadership skills, watch other people. Watch the girl that steps up on the basketball team and takes the lead, and see what she does, and try to emulate what she does so that you can develop yourself into a leader like that.
So who in this room plays sports? Okay. Cheering, that's a sport too. I did it all. I cheered, played basketball, ran track. Point guard, I play basketball. What are you going to do when you, as a point guard, you're going to run the ball? You're going to bring it down the court. You set the play. You lead. But every position in any sport has a leader. They're going to define it and set it. You might not start off as that leader, but what you do is you learn, as I said. You learn from the leaders in front of you. By the time you become a junior or a senior, you will be that lead. And you will command that court. That is where leadership really starts. Learn from that. The things you do today can be applied into the real world perspective. You'd be amazed. All I ask of you all, don't be settled with being a follower. A follower just goes with whatever someone tells them to do. But a leader would know if that's the direction you want to go in. You make your own decisions. Practice that today, and believe it or not, if you practice it now, it becomes second nature for you, and that is what you'll become in the future. As you progress from middle school and go on to high school and go on to college, volunteer. That'll teach you leadership skills. Always be the one to be a part of something, because you're going to learn from that, to grow on that, and lead with that. That's my advice.
Okay. Alyssa and Paige, this is our last question. We talked a lot today about having a mentor. So tell the young ladies how they can develop that type of relationship with somebody. How can they get a mentor? Or what is it? They may not even know what we're talking about when we say have a mentor. So I'd like for you all to explain to them what really a mentor is and how they can develop that type of relationship.
Okay. So I kind of have two examples. So I had a mentor in college, and she was a professor, and she really instilled a lot of characteristics and qualities that I have now, and you don't realize how important it is to be able to lean on someone that has experience that you can go to and have, ask questions until you have that relationship and you realize how beneficial it is. Because, as you're growing up, you're going to get exposed to a lot of things and a lot of opportunities, and you're going to want to have that person to go to and kind of bounce ideas off and see what works best for you, because, this is your career, this is your life. Trying to find that person, it can vary. It can be someone in your community. It can be someone like I had at my school. So I don't really think that there's an exact way or exact person for everyone. I think that through school and through experience, you'll be able to connect with the person that you want to have as a mentor. And then, taking a larger look at it, I find networking really important as well, because, instead of just having this one mentor, you can also just get a lot of exposure to a bunch of people, in the field that you're interested in, and maintain those connections and build those relationships. So you have, I look at it as I have all these mentors. If I have a question about something and I know someone that's in that similar situation, had that, experience, I can reach out to them and talk to them about it. So it really, again, it's about networking and building those relationships.
So Paige talked about having a teacher at school. Do y'all have a teacher at school that you like? Think about one of the best teachers you ever had. Your favorite teacher. That teacher was probably somebody you could talk to, probably somebody you could ask questions to, probably somebody who took an interest in you. If you have thoughts about what you want to be when you grow up, you have counselors at school, but you can also have your teachers. Talk to your teachers and tell them, and odds are they're going to know somebody to ask, and they can get you in touch with somebody who can, introduce you to something that you're interested in. And then as you get older, as you have a mentor doesn't always have to be somebody who's a boss or be somebody who's very important. Two of the most important people in my life, still to this day, even though they're retired, they were not managers. They were just a couple of other operators that when I was an intern, they took me in and they were teaching me things. And I still call them today about things that happened in my life. And then now they introduce me to people. So find people that can introduce you to people. If you tell a teacher that you're interested in something, your teacher may know somebody and they can introduce you to someone else. Part of having a mentor too is we talked about communication. Sometimes if you're shy or you're worried about somebody's going to think, can always think about something that you said that was embarrassing, but odds are you can't remember what somebody else said that was embarrassing. So don't be afraid to ask people questions. And then you can build a relationship with someone, and then they'll become a mentor to you. It doesn't have to be a set in stone thing. It can be like a friendship. But make connections with people, talk to people even if you're scared, introduce yourself. Ask people about them. Don't go up and say, hey, this is what I want. Go up to them and ask, hey, how did you get to where you are? How could I do that? Do you see this happening for me? How did it happen for you? Learn how to ask questions to adults. That will help you out a lot as you get older and you start looking to go into college and figure out what you want to do with your life.
I hope that you all got something from what they said. I know we threw a lot of information at you today, but these ladies will be here, the other volunteers will be here, and I want you to take advantage of them and do just like they said. Walk up to them, ask them questions about what they do and how they got there and what you should do and what are your next steps. So with that being said, I want to say thank you, ladies, for taking part in our panel today. Let's give them a great round of applause for being here and for answering our questions. And at this time, I'm going to turn over, I think, to Dr. Thurman for the next part of our activities today. Thank you again.